Here we are. You guys remember this truck? My 72 C20. I've had it parked out here for a couple of months now because we moved, and you know, it never has been drivable. So the transmission doesn't shift, the carrier bearing is bad, we've got an electric fuel pump on it that's just wired up with wires hanging everywhere, hadn't been tagged since '02, cab mounts are busted, the list goes on and on. So it's really not drivable, so we're going to go ahead and attempt to fire it up and drive it onto the new location.
Yeah.
We know the battery's run down already. We're going to go ahead and get ready to jump start it. Darn it, buddy. Fluid opening tool. All right. Leaf in there? Well, nothing's living in there, so that's a good start. How about? Okay. I'm sure it's about out of gas. Go ahead and put some gas in it. Tell them what we're doing today.
So these are, so that's the truck. So this is one out of the car. So that is for all of the time. So anything looks to do almost just like truck. So anything is a daddy truck. Everything is just very, very big highway. So if you don't know how to fix gas numbers, you need to know why this big started through by Chicago Day.
That's right. Y'all getting all that? Sounds like a good plan to me.
Sounds like a good gas.
Does you too, bud? All right. Maybe we don't have any in here, brother. This thing always starts. Put a new battery in now, and I'm gonna try to see if we can get it rolling over faster. I think we may have had a spark issue from some of the possible chewings going on back here while it's been sitting. Not really sure, but I kept having a lot of drag in the starter because that other battery was so low. So gonna go ahead and try to roll it over with this new one. All right, well, I got the new battery in. Not sure what's going to happen yet. We'll see if we can at least get some good crankage. I hear the clickety clack. Battery looks good. I think that works. I'm not really sure. Let's see. Nope, man, that one's dead too. How in the world did that brand new battery go dead? Okay, startup attempt number 472. Fire in a hole. Fire in a hole. Fire. Never mind. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just kick the key forward. See if we hear the fuel pump working. Clickety clack is working. And we're pulling fuel. So for sure, I'll just open this up. We got fuel to here. So let's see if we're getting any in here. Hard to see. Kind of wondering if the old accelerator pump quit. Sorry, I'm shaking around too much, guys. Trying to see if we got fuel down in here. Let's see if we can get a good view like this. My big fat finger out of the way. Okay. Yep, we're getting squirtage right there. Okay. So now it's an issue of firing. Let's try to roll it over again. Well, crap. Stand by. Well, our C20's not wanting to fire. Of course, we all knew this wiring was terrible on it. Has been since I got it, but it always fired up. Now it's not, and we're beginning to see why. Kind of hard to hold voltage through here. So since I don't have anything here, I'm going to go ahead and try to just rig it up worse than it already is, just to see if I can get some sparkage going on and get this sucker to fire, because I know for sure we're getting fuel in this here carburetor. So it's got to be a firing issue, and I'm not really worried about this particular deal unless I burn the coil up inside, but judging by the wiring, I would have to start here. So I'm going to get started finagling all that together. Alrighty, well, I'm going to go ahead and hook the positive back up over yonder. If I can find me some tape, that way I can possibly get it going and just running. I'm going to put it on all this stuff. This thing's going to have a whole new wiring harness. So any recommendations that any of you guys might have, leave it down there in the comments. I am going to, let's see. Found out that this brittle son of a gun didn't go anywhere. So throw that crap out. This one has been wired up for the new style distributor. So that blue wire goes right up in there with the new distributor. And it was coming apart. And it was really brittle. This green was really brittle. So I went ahead and just kind of cut it up and cut out the bad stuff that didn't need to be there and all the stuff that was cracking and breaking apart, just to see if I can get some voltage across. And if I need to, I built the jumper wire here, but I'm going to try it without that real quick, see if she'll fire up. Let's run in here and see if it'll crank over. Fire in the hole. Ooh, got some backfire on. It fired though. Ooh, I think we're flooded. That's probably why. Try again. There she goes. Pressure. Good alternator. Sorry guys, my camera work sucks inside this thing. Burning off all that old nasty fuel I just shoved in it. See, she'll. There we go. Okay, let's go around and see how she sounds. Sounds like everything's fine. I think this side's got the bad valves or rings or both. All right. Sitting idling. I'm gonna let it idle and warm up a minute, and then I'm gonna clean all this crap up and try to make it where it'll dry. Well, I had it running for about 10 minutes now. Completely forgot about this bad valve cover leak, which I have the parts in here. And as you can see, the cab is completely full of crap I need to put on it. Anyway, back to taping this stuff up. Okay, so my professional wiring job is now complete. Here, right there. I mean, that just looks perfect. Professional. Now we'll go inside and see if it'll go into gear. It usually goes into gear, and I've had trouble with it shifting. So let's see if she'll go into gear real quick. There's reverse. Okay, drive. Oh, there we got drive. All right, transmission works. Maybe I'll take it for a little spin around here. You know, I thought for sure I bought some new crank handles for this, and I have no clue in this pile of mess where in the hell I put it. So we're just gonna go ahead and just go with it. Oh, yeah. Yep, she's weatherproof. Let's go. Low 1, low 2. D for dummy, you need to get going. All right, driving her out of her hole. Oh man. It's the actual first time I've ever done it with the bed being on it, and the bed is just sitting on there. It's not bolted. Let's see if she wants to try to shift for us. Still no shiftage. Yeah, that's annoying. Let's see if we can shift it on our own. Nope. No chance of shifting. Man, there's some noises I ain't ever heard in this thing. Holds good oil pressure. All right. Well, there's 10 miles per hour. There's 20, and she still won't shift. So, I think that'd make it home, right? It's only about 10 miles. It's worth a try. We'll get to it. Okay, so we're gonna attempt our short drive home that could be very long because I can't go over 15, 20 miles per hour. But we're gonna make it on some back roads best we can. We're gonna go about 10 miles. So let's see if she'll crank back up for us. Fire in the hole. Bust right off. Good battery. Good oil pressure. Okay, so we're gonna see if we can make it to the house. Okay, heading up the roads, get ready for some loud racket. It's gonna beat us to death. We've got 2 rear swelled tires, flat spots on them. Right front that's about ready to blow. Left front's in good shape. She won't shift out of first. No lights, no tailgate. Bed's just sitting on there, not even bolted. Doors are about to fall off. Windows are gonna rattle to death. So why not just take it for a cruise, right? Sorry for the crappy film work, but I haven't been able to find any of my dang mounts. And this just kind of came up unexpected when I finally got off of work. So we're taking it home. Good looking rig behind us. The old Tahoe looks pretty good with those lights in it. Come on, baby. Shift for me. One thing I forgot to mention, the carrier bearing's also shot. So if we can just get home without losing parts or blowing something up or launching the rear end in the air from the drive line hitting the ground, I think we'll be okay. You know, when you start smelling stuff that's burning, oil, and maybe even some electrical wires, then you look in your mirror, you really hope that's all dust behind you. But we're just gonna keep cruising like we don't see it. No big deal. Really hoping that right front tire holds up. It's yeah, it's not in good shape. If it doesn't, we're just gonna scoot it on home anyway. Here's gonna be the fun one. I have to go about 4 miles on this here and hope we don't get busted. Oh boy, that doesn't sound good. Pretend I didn't hear that. Oh yeah, sounds great. I mean, it just sounds wonderful. So far I haven't lost anything. I don't know, 4 miles, that should take us, what, an hour? That'd be all right. Thinking, I really hope I got enough gas in here, you know. I know this thing works, but I don't know how accurate it is. I guess if I'm only getting 4 miles a gallon, maybe I'll make it. I don't know. We'll see. Well, that video came to an abrupt end. SD card, for some reason, didn't format properly, so on the camera I'm holding now, all the footage was blank. I had it up on the windshield so you can see the truck going, and I had some funny stuff on there too, unfortunately. So most of that trip got cut off, and luckily it was just a short trip. I mean, it took us 30 minutes to make that 8 to 10 mile trip we did. Anyway, since then, as you can see, I've gone ahead and pulled the bed off of the truck, used my A-frame here, which is a flipping back saver and a half, man. So just ran some ratchet straps across there, hooked in the middle, raised it right up. Got me old counterweight here. But anyway, I set it down on this cart that I got over the summer. This was a cart that was used at Air Force Base. From what I heard, it came from the base, and they used to wheel around jet engines on them. So it worked out perfectly. I just set this bed on there, and so now I'm going to just pull it out and go ahead and get the truck pulled in here so I can start doing some work on it. So the truck's right outside, and since I was in it last, the weather got really rough and cold. It's supposed to warm up a little today and get in the 30s. So it's been down in the teens. It was like 20 when I got up today though, so it's about 25, 28 right now. Go out here and we'll see if we can get a cold start on the old truck, and then we'll get it out of the way. We'll get the bed out of here, moved around, and then we'll get the truck pulled in so we can start going over what we're going to do in the back of it. It's been sitting in the cold for 3 days now. Like I said, it's about 28 degrees out. It's been in the teens for a couple of days. We got a little bit of snow and stuff, but we'll see if it'll crank up for us. I got to get it out of the way to get that bed out of there. Alright, now that it's in the shop, give you a refresher of where we were. Wrong carrier bearing again, you got to redo that. These were completely seized to the bushing, so I'm going to have to get one cut out, make sure I got the right size and length. I could probably just gauge that, but get new bushings and at least bolts for the leaf springs. This axle flip, this is actually the bottom plate to it, but since I couldn't get any of this stuff apart, I put it back on there just to hold it. The other U-bolts I had to cut, of course, so the factory ones. So I just put that together like that. That will actually flip over and be the bottom, and the axle will be sitting up here on top of the springs, make it low. Then I've got the C-notch kit, which I think I got laying right here. This is all the crap I had in the cab of that sucker. Yeah, so here's the other side of that axle flip. And here's the C-notch kit. These came from Performance Online, so you know it'll line up like this here. They give you all the bends and curves to do it right. You just need to mock it up. And we'll do that in the next episode. Mock it up, cut out for this notch here on the frame, put that on, bolt it, and then go ahead and weld it. And that'll have the rear end looking really low, and it's going to look really cool. I think it states like a 6-inch, maybe, a 6-inch drop, maybe. So that being said, it also shows where you can take some of these springs out. Now, the Camper Special, or excuse me, not Camper Special, that's a Ford. The Custom Camper Editions and the Longhorn Editions had 3 different variations of leaf springs. Now, if you remember, in 67 to 72, everything had coil spring on the rear. So the Custom Camper Editions and the Longhorns came with these leaf springs, which in 73, when they went to the square body style, they started running leaf springs on the back all the time. For the 73 to 87s, they all ran leaf spring in the back from then on. I don't know if they were, they originally everything was leaf spring, then they went coil, then back to spring coil. So I don't know if this was kind of a getting into the new, going to the square body, or kind of a new test run thing. I don't know. But I know these springs would hold up a lot better than coil springs. So you can imagine, like, this truck had a big service bed on it its whole life, and it worked its butt off. So these springs are still in good shape. It shows where you can take a couple out depending on the ride that you want. I don't know if I will, because I think, like I said, there was 3 variations of spring, getting heavier and heavier. And I'll have to look it up. I think it was like a 2,500 pound, and then a 3,600 pound, and then a 5,000 pound. I'll have to look that up again though. Those are the numbers that are popping in my head, but I would think there'd be more if this is a 5,000, but that's a pretty thick helper there, so I don't know. But it shows some ones that you can take out. And then, if you remember, the body kind of set crooked. This is why I've got those mounts. So the cab was sagging to the rear, and then the bed was tilted forward. And the reason why on that was we just set the bed on the frame. Well, it's got these brackets that were put in from when it had a service bed on it of some sort. So I'm sure that was bracing up something. You can see it was welded too and everything else. So it had it sitting up there. It wasn't actually sitting down on the frame like it should. So all that crap will come out. And once I get all this built here, built being the axle flip, the new bolts and stuff that these springs need, the C-notch kit in there, bolted up, welded up, everything looks like it's supposed to. We're going to clean up the frame. I'm going to go ahead and do the exhaust work. I may, because I'm going to have to do so much more mechanical work now than I had anticipated, may go ahead and get some headers and just do the entire exhaust system. I was just going to cut these glass backs off and then put some mufflers I have, dump them down right there, possibly go over the rear, but may just do the whole thing now. And since the transmission is bad, I have this 700R4 here, and I would rather run it so I've got overdrive. I would really like this truck to be able to cruise down the highway and not be running 3,000, 3,500 RPM ready to blow up at 70, 75 miles per hour. So I would like it to be like the way the newer ones are. You can hit cruise control at 75 and you're running, 22, 2,300 RPM maybe. I don't know what the gear ratio is yet. We'll find out. But having the overdrive transmission would help. So I could get that rebuilt instead of the one that's in it. But by doing that, I'll have to, along with getting this carrier bearing done, I'll have to get this front drive line out and get it shortened because the tail shaft on those was longer than the ones without overdrive. So that's where we are right now. Also, I have this Vortec engine here. I've got a pretty nice cam for it. New intake. I've got carburetors and all that stuff. I got to get the serpentine system that goes with it. I am considering just tearing that one down, cleaning it up, new oil pump and all that stuff, gaskets, and then putting this nice cam in it, which I'd have to get the heads done and heavier springs because it's a pretty good one. We got, let's see, what have we got here? Valve lift 474, duration 050, 220, 224 intake exhaust, duration 270, 274 intake exhaust, lobe separation 111. It's a pretty dang good one. I think you can get like 450 or something out of these stock springs on a Vortec. I'd have to look up that too. All the numbers are just kind of cruising in my head, but may as well. They've got some some Z28 springs that I put in a different set of heads that I have that work perfect with that cam because they're 550 on the lift. So I may just get some of those and have them just work those heads. That way we know they're good. And then clean the entire bottom end up. Clean up the crank, put a new oil pump in it, hone the cylinders, freeze plugs, clean it up, make it look really nice, all new gaskets, and then put that cam in it with that new intake and carb that I have. I've also got a new distributor for it, which this one's got the same one. And get that in with the overdrive trans. That'd be cool. But that's on down the road. I want to get all this done first and get that rear end done. And when it's all this stuff is complete that we need, go ahead and paint this part of it. And then move on to the cab, where we're going to do all the cab mounts, which I have. I also have the rocker panels. Going to have to go ahead and get floors, unfortunately. I was hoping I wouldn't. I was hoping I could just patch part of it, but I think I'm going to have to. I think it's further back. Once I pull that mat up, it's going to be a little disappointing. So I need to get those, all that put in. Find me some cab corners. We got some ice leakage. Some cab corners for it. I have all the door sills to fix this crap here. I mean, you guys heard that when I was driving on the road. It's pretty rough. Also, this thing rode so rough for so many years. I think I showed this in a previous video. It looks like the hinge came apart, and this has all been welded up before. And I don't really want to get new doors, because if I do that, then I lose the look that I'm going for here. So I may just try to do that's going to be a heck of a lot of work, but do some sheet metal work on it, because it's got to patch this down here on them too. And then I've got 4-inch drop springs for the front. As you can see, that sits pretty low already. So that will look really good. Anyway, sorry that the drive came to an abrupt end, but with this technology crap, it doesn't always work out in my favor. My phone lost all of its storage space conveniently while I was driving, and then this camera that I'm holding here, the SD card crapped out. So I also had a hard drive crap out on me, and they couldn't restore it, so I lost all my original episodes. But anyway, that's where we are right now. Appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that for us. We'd appreciate it a bunch. You can click that little bell, tell you when we got stuff coming up. Check out some of my friends at Iron Horse Garage, Robert's Garage, Half Fast Garage, Stuff with Cletus, Left for Dead Garage. Man, I've got a lot I need to say. Got a lot of good friends in there. I'll try to get to some of you other guys on a different episode. So anyway, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.